look at smart villages, we have Jon Kaufman here, who has worked with Rotary, and he had H2O Open Doors, which revealed to him an opportunity to bring in private capital to help with the fundraising and also the permissioning of individuals in the regions to run water operations that are solar powered. He'll be supported by Nick Polsinelli, whose company provides off-grid satellite communications and connections. Yes, well, thank you. And that would be Jon Kaufman with the Smart and Connected Villages. Jon, over to you. As John's opening up his slides, I'll just say that anyone who's interested in what Gigi and Chris are doing may also want to attend the SWAN Forum, and that's swan-forum.com on the web. They have a meeting in May where everyone will convene in Washington, D.C. But we're thrilled to have him joining us from Rotary and his experience. So take it away, Jon.
Thank you, Mary. This is a who's who of water folks, and I'm going to be learning so much today. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I started a water project within Rotary called H2 Open Doors, and we put in 37 fully functioning water purification and in some cases enterprises in 13 different countries. And in that process over the last 11 years, I came to, as we were all sent to our rooms by Mother Nature the last couple of years, I came to realize that the declining philanthropy availability is getting overtaken by impact investment. And so we started something called GlobalWaterFirst. GlobalWaterWorks name was already taken, so I had to use GlobalWaterFirst. But really the idea of that name is start with water. If you want to improve the lives of villages around the world and bring in self-reliance, you start with water. And so our interest is in putting in water and power hubs. I am a steward of something that's new, that's was put together by the Rothschild family and Pope Francis, and it's called the Council for Inclusive Capitalism in the Vatican. There is trillions of dollars locked into family foundations, corporate foundations. Philanthropy will never be able to solve the 17 UN goals, ever. It'll never get there. But we have the money locked into capitalism, and this phrase of inclusive capitalism really resonates with me. So these are smart water and power hubs. And what we want to do is start with water by putting in water purification systems that tap into any source, rivers, lakes, groundwater, municipal water, purify it, and actually make that into an enterprise for the village to sell to itself and to surrounding communities. In a lot of cases, it's about $300,000 in gross revenue every single year, which is transformative. We also want to put in power hubs, nanogrids. So I'm part of the working group of the IEEE Smart Village. I love that tagline, power a village, empower a community. So ultimately what we're trying to do is develop self-reliance by starting with water and power. Typically we'll go into a country, this is in Uganda, where their water source looks like this. The largest NGO for water in the US actually uses the yellow jerry can as their logo, which is like saying we're a big fat failure. Because if you're using funky jerry cans at water points and having women walk 5 miles a day with 40 pounds of water on their back, really, what have you accomplished? So ours is a disruptive model. We do something completely different. And what we do is we build water plants that look more like this, that replaces that scene, where we take water from any source, purify it through Colorado-made membrane-based equipment, and we bottle it in most cases where there isn't piping to huts and houses and so on. And we bottle it into 5-gallon reusable family-sized bottles. This is the plant that we just put in the last quarter of last year in Uganda, fully solarized water bottling plant that produces 1,000 of those 5-gallon bottles every single day for sale, which supports in this particular case, a vocational university outside of Kampala. This is the Sunspring, which is the flagship piece. A lot of you folks may know it. It's a water treatment plant that can do 20,000 liters a day. It's got its own solar panel and its wind turbine used. Another configuration, which we've been in development with the factory in Colorado, is these small SIP buildings, these structural insulated panel buildings. And inside, we put a full water purification plant and bottling operation within these little buildings. And lately, what we've been doing is sliding these buildings into high cube 40-foot containers. We just put one in Juba, South Sudan. We've got another one ready to go to Ethiopia. This is where we slide out the fully operational building and put both buildings in place. So now you have a warehouse for the bottles and you have a fully operational plug and play water purification plant. And our strategy is to flywheel the 17 goals by combining clean water and sanitation, number 6, and decent worth and economic growth, number 8. In other words, water enterprises that will eventually be run and owned by the poor, not just the rich, not just Coca-Cola, Dan, Nestle, PepsiCo, but the poor would be running their own water enterprises, rising the people that run this, and it's mostly going to be women, into the position of the middle class within the very first year. This is an example of what we did 2 years ago in the Masai Mara. These 5 women run a water bottling operation in the Taluk side of the Masai Mara. And this is the product that they sell and distribute. One of the advantages of these kinds of bottles in the developing rural world is that you can make water portable. Instead of women going to the water point all day long and being susceptible to rape and robbery, the water gets delivered as part of this enterprise. And finally, what we're going to be doing now is we're looking for $2 million. We're talking with USAID and some others. We want to bring these kinds of water plants that I just showed you to 30 locations that surround Ukraine, at the borders of Ukraine. There so far are 2 million refugees that have crossed these borders. We expect that to rise to 5 million. The solution, like most solutions for disaster relief for water, is flats of single-use bottles. On a C-130 transport, you can only put 8 pallets of these flats. This is how expensive water in a relief situation is. However, we can put these systems in, use the existing water from any source, purify and provide water to people as they're coming back and forth over the border, and they're portable, so we can move them. So when Vladimir Putin chokes on his vodka and passes away, perhaps all these people that are the refugees, most of them might want to come back into Ukraine. But the beauty of this project is these are permanent solutions that can become and transition into enterprises that these people can run and prosper from in the future. So that's a little bit about what I'll talk about in the breakout sessions, and I hope you'll join me. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, John. I think the rural villages that you're working in today translate to rural communities in every single country and places that are off grid. So appreciate that.